I just planted these cone flowers a couple days ago. They were in a nice pot. In fact, there's the pot sitting right there. And the hibiscus here is blooming. Seems like they're the first thing to start every year, and then they bloom late in the year. And here it is, still blooming. I should be pulling off the spent blooms. And my phlox is still blooming. I like those. And the viburnum is still blooming here. Little tiny flowers. I just hope there's some berries there at the end of the year for the birds. And the yarrow is over here blooming away. And the loosestrife is still blooming. It usually doesn't bloom this late in the year. And this rose here is still blooming, and it's so strange because I dug it up, put it over there, and then it grew back. And this hibiscus up here is blooming, and I'm still thinking about digging it up this fall and putting it right in here somewhere. And it's hard to keep up with pulling all the spent blooms off of it. There's so many of them. And here's more loosestrife in here blooming. The roses. These are, I think, miniature roses. And I think these older ones need to be pruned off. And here is a new one I got this year. And it's just shot way up like that. It's got one on the top coming on. And here is the one that I dug up and then put over here. Here is my low-growing ground cover plumbago. This is a really nice ground cover, and I think I'm going to start digging it up and putting it some other places around the garden. Seems like you don't have to do anything at all to take care of it. I can't even remember where I bought it some years ago, but it blooms every fall, and it's a really nice ground cover. It's not the, there is a plumbago that's a bush, but this is just the ground cover. I'm kind of trying to tell if these stems are woody or not. Look at this, it just keeps creeping along the ground. Yeah, it's just creeping along the ground. Huh. So here's the stems right here. Huh. Yeah, it's been here for many years. It's been in this area for many years, and it's kind of just filling it up. And I've also got the Sandra in here, and this is just Creeping Jenny, Here's lamium in here. I've got all kinds of ground covers in here. Here's my hostas. They're another one, what you might call cast iron plants, because it doesn't seem like there's anything you can do to hurt them. And I like the just plain green leaves of hostas, because they're the ones that have the perfumey smell. And I love hostas when they're massed together like this. And that is why I'm planting a whole bunch of them over here. Now I've got started, I need to put more over in here so this whole area is filled with them. And here's some that I just planted, moved up here. These are daylilies, and I guess we'll see who can compete the best, the hostas or the daylilies. I didn't plant them, they just seem to go everywhere. And here's some more hostas. This one here is bigger. So I hope to have this whole area filled in next year. And hostas are one of those things that can do quite well with other ground covers like lamium and vinca minor. This hosta's been here for a few years, and you can see it's not bothered at all. And the ants love that sweetness in the flower there. It's not bothered at all by the ground covers there. And these are daylilies. They're not blooming now, they bloom in the spring. Here's another hosta. And this hosta here, I don't remember planting it, but I think it's a different kind. Look at the size of the leaves. And as near as, I think this might be called Sum and Substance, but the flowers are pretty much the same. So imagine just sitting here on this bench with all the hostas blooming around you. And this is a moonflower. I planted it here in this vase. And as usual, all these damn animals are digging in the dirt. But the hosta was still able to grow. And it's up to here. And I hope that this is a moonflower, I'm sorry. This moonflower was still able to grow. And I hope it's still going to bloom, because it's probably delayed because of all the animals digging in here. I need to maybe I'll go back to starting them earlier in the house. I used to do that, and I was able to get them to bloom a lot earlier, so I might start doing that. This here is an eastern red cedar, and I planted some of these out back I did not plant this one. The birds planted this one. The eastern red cedar has berries on it that birds like, which is why I planted them. I planted them out back because they're such a big, huge tree. But the birds must have been sitting here on this honeysuckle bush and dropping seeds, and one of them took off, and it's been I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago now I first noticed that seedling there, because there's not a lot of light here. It would get morning sun here, and this used to be a really big bush, and so I cut it back because it was always dropping seeds, and then they would start, and I'd have honeysuckle bushes all over the place I was constantly pulling up. But you can see here on these violets all the bird droppings, and that's from birds that come and sit here on the honeysuckle bush and then go over there to the bird feeder and then just fly back and forth all day long. These coral bells, and this is another coral bell. This is my brunera. It has small blue flowers in the spring. Here's a columbine I planted over here. Oh look, there's new growth in there. Put a package of seeds in this flower pot, and the soil's kind of dry, but I don't know what kind of flower this is either. Is that just an ordinary black-eyed Susan? I don't know, but I'm going to repot that, not repot it, but put it in the flower bed, I think. But I think this rose here is called Mr. Lincoln. And here's this geranium that I had the house all winter long. Here's this, I started this from seed and I've forgotten what it is. Looks like it needs some, I'm actually thinking about just digging it up and planting it over in here. Here's this other hibiscus I planted. Looks like it was 5 little pieces of roots, so there's different colors. Here's this coneflower. And I think this is the one I planted first, but I don't know how I got one over here. So I got 2 of them out of one plant. And this variegated dogwood has been looking very nice. And here's one of those seeds in the basket that I planted. The dirt level is way down because animals came in digging here, and so it's amazing that any of these seeds even grew. And you can even see where they've been still digging in here. This one here, it's amazing. I don't know what kind of flowers they are, but it's amazing that anything grew as much as animals dig in here. And the hostas are really looking nice. And these are moonflowers. I don't know if there's enough, if they're going to bloom or not yet this year. If there's enough light over here. And I dug up a whole bunch of hostas out back and put them over here. There's some there. There's just like 2 big rows. So hopefully next year this will be all covered with hostas, this whole area. There's another hosta. And this coral bells just keeps blooming and blooming. It's divided up into so many plants. And this is lamium back here. And vinca minor. This is a hardy geranium. I think I'm going to dig it up. First I have to find, there it is right there. Dig up the crown right there. And then plant it out there where it can get some more sun. Might be nice to have some Lenten roses in here. Here's some more hostas. And these are some wildflowers I planted in here. From seed. And the package had to broadcast the seed, so that's what I did. This is forget-me-not, and I'm pretty sure that this is sweet alyssum. This is more forget-me-not blooms. Here's sweet alyssum. Well, I don't know what that is. This is sweet alyssum. This is probably cornflowers. Here's some more sweet alyssum here. I'm sorry. This is forget-me-nots. These are morning glories right there. I don't know what this is. I wouldn't mind having a whole bunch of them though. And in the spring, the things that come back in the spring, I'll dig up and put out front. I think I'm gonna, if I plant wildflowers like this again next year, plant them in rows, even though they tell you to broadcast them. Because it's so much easier to keep the weeds out if they're in rows. All this grass I've been pulling up in here. Here's some cornflowers. Centuriae right there. And the morning glories are still blooming away over here. It's from one year, several years ago, that I planted them. This is a weed. I think this is not a morning glory, but a convolutus, which is not even in the same genus as morning glories are Ipopomea, and I don't know what that is. I think it's something else. Morning glories and moonflowers all in the same genus. Look at all the morning glories. And these are 4 o'clocks, and it's so strange. I thought they opened up at 4 o'clock, but they haven't been. They evidently open up in the daytime And I don't know, maybe they're in the shade. Yeah, these 4 o'clocks here volunteered on their own. I didn't plant them here this year. And those are cosmos. They volunteered there. Look at all of these 4 o'clocks. Sometimes they're called Marvel of Peru, Mirabilis japonica, I think. And they're a perennial. They just grow as an annual here because they're not a hardy annual. I mean, they're not a hardy perennial, so the frost kills them. But they have a tuber like a potato that you can dig up and grow next year. Mirabilis, Marvel of Peru, or 4 o'clocks. And here's some more that volunteered over here. These are red. I didn't plant any 4 o'clocks this year. I did plant wildflower seeds in here. I just threw them in. And that is a marigold. This is a nasturtium. They'd probably be doing a lot better here if I gave them some more water. That's pretty dry. Maybe if I get some time, I can do that. Here's some more sweet alyssum. And I don't know what these purple flowers are, but I like the small little wildflowers like that. This is bunny rabbit's ears, I think, because it's got the funny fuzzy leaves. I think it has a tall purple flower. And I know just where out front I'm going to plant those too. Right along, because they make a good border, and they love full sun. And I'm trying to think of the full name of them. I just can't right now. But I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, all these wildflowers that come back next year, I'm going to dig up and put out front. Look at all those 4 o'clocks. Isn't that something? And they all volunteered on their own. Just plant once and come again. Yeah, this is August 21st. The time of the year when it's hard to keep up with the weeds. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I was able to make a good video for you that helped you out, and one that was entertaining to watch. And if I was able to do those things, could you please subscribe? I would really appreciate if you'd subscribe to this channel and like this video. And thanks a lot, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.